There's a reason your mind won't stop. The constant replaying. The late-night what-ifs. The imaginary conversations you have just to feel prepared. You call it overthinking, but your brain calls it protection. Because once upon a time, not knowing hurt you. Something happened that caught you off guard. An argument, a loss, a moment that taught you. If I can predict it, I can prevent it. And so your mind became a bodyguard. It learned to scan every possibility, to build safety out of scenarios, to treat peace like a luxury you can't afford. Psychologists call this cognitive hypervigilance, a survival mechanism where thought replaces trust. It's your brain's way of saying, I don't ever want to be surprised by pain again. But here's the cost. You start living in the future, anxiously preparing for storms that may never come. You confuse analysis with control and control with safety. And soon, you realize you're exhausted not because life is chaotic, but because your mind is. Tell me, do you ever feel relief in worrying, like it's the only thing keeping you safe? Do you struggle to rest because your thoughts won't let you? That's not a flaw. That's your nervous system trying, desperately, to protect the child who once had no protection at all. But you're not in danger anymore. You're just not used to what safety sounds like. Silence. You didn't wake up one day and decide to live in your head. You were pushed there. There was a time when you couldn't control what happened, when chaos arrived uninvited, when people's moods shifted without warning. So your mind learned to run ahead of life, to calculate, to prepare, to soften every possible blow before it landed. And it worked, sort of. You became observant. You could predict other people's emotions before they spoke. You saw danger in the small things, a sigh, a pause, a look. You called it intuition, but really, it was survival. Psychologists call this anticipatory control, the illusion that if you can think of every possible outcome, you can stop yourself from being blindsided again. It's how anxious children become analytical adults. But thinking too far ahead keeps you stuck in the past. You don't actually prevent pain, you just pre-live it. You rehearse heartbreak before it happens. You catastrophize kindness because it feels too fragile. And eventually, you mistake overanalysis for safety when it's really a cage with glass walls. Have you ever noticed how hard it is to trust something when it feels good? How your brain whispers, this won't last, even in moments of calm. That's your old defense system still doing its job, protecting you from the pain that already happened. But safety isn't built by preparation. It's built by presence. And the hardest thing for an overthinker to learn is that nothing in the present moment needs fixing. You can put the sword down. Nothing's attacking you here. Overthinking feels like control, but it's really containment. It's how you keep the world from touching you too directly. If you can stay in your head, you don't have to feel what's in your heart. That's the secret function of rumination. It keeps your emotions at arm's length. You replay instead of release. You dissect instead of feel. Because thinking feels safer than hurting. When emotions once led to rejection or chaos, you learned that logic was survival. That if you could explain it, you could endure it. So you built walls of analysis around every experience, turning even your pain into a puzzle to solve. Psychologists call this intellectualization, when the mind becomes the shield the body hides behind. It's brilliant, really, because it lets you survive what you couldn't process. But over time, you forget that protection and isolation can look exactly the same. Have you ever noticed how you think the most when you feel the least? How your mind starts spinning when your body starts feeling still? That's because quiet brings up what thinking pushes down: grief, fear, vulnerability. And your system confuses that feeling with danger. So you run faster, into thoughts, into hypotheticals, into the endless what-ifs. But here's the thing, your thoughts aren't trying to hurt you. They're trying to hold you. They just don't realize you don't need holding anymore. You can think less, not because you've stopped caring, but because you've started trusting. When you've lived through unpredictability, peace feels suspicious, and thinking becomes your armor. You tell yourself you're just being cautious, that it's better to be prepared than to be caught off guard. But really, it's fear in disguise. A fear that if you stop monitoring the world, it'll fall apart again, the way it once did when you weren't ready. So you plan every word. You rehearse every goodbye before anyone leaves. You take comfort in control, even when it costs you rest. And when something good happens, you can't just enjoy it. You analyze it until the warmth fades, searching for the flaw, the catch, the hidden reason it can't last. Psychologists call this hypervigilant cognition, a mind wired to scan for threats instead of receive safety. It's not about overanalyzing life. It's about anticipating loss before joy has a chance to settle in. Have you ever noticed how your thoughts grow loud right when things start to feel okay? That's the moment your nervous system says, don't relax. It's not safe yet. You confuse calm with carelessness and rest with risk. But what your body doesn't realize yet is that you don't live in that old story anymore. You've survived the storm you keep preparing for. Maybe the real danger now is never letting yourself arrive in peace, because you're too busy scanning for what might take it away. You don't have to earn stillness by solving everything first. Sometimes safety starts when you finally stop searching for it. Healing from overthinking isn't about silencing your mind. It's about helping it feel safe enough to rest. You can't logic your way out of survival mode. You have to teach your body that the danger is over, because your brain only spins this fast when it doesn't trust the ground beneath it. It's trying to anticipate pain before it arrives, but sometimes the anticipation becomes the pain itself. So start with presence, not perfection. When you catch yourself spiraling into what-ifs, don't fight the thoughts. Pause and name what your body is feeling. Tight chest? Racing heart? Shallow breath? That's anxiety, not intuition. And your job isn't to solve it, it's to soothe it. Psychologists call this interoceptive awareness, reconnecting the mind and body, so thought isn't the only form of protection. You can ground through breath, sound, or sensation, touch something textured, feel the weight of your feet, listen to the hum of the room. Each time you do, you're reminding your mind, we're here, we're safe. Try this gentle phrase next time you overthink. I don't need to predict it. I can handle it. It shifts you from control to trust, from anxiety to self-reliance. Have you ever noticed how much softer your thoughts get when you stop treating them like enemies? They start to sound less like alarms and more like memories, just echoes of a younger you, trying so hard to keep you alive. You can thank that version of yourself and then remind them, we're safe enough to stop thinking now. One day, you'll notice it, the space between your thoughts. A pause, a breath that doesn't feel borrowed. A moment where your mind, so used to sprinting, finally walks. And in that stillness, you'll realize something profound. Your thoughts were never the problem. They were the body's way of saying, I'm scared. They weren't trying to destroy your peace. They were trying to create it, the only way they knew how. That's the paradox of healing from overthinking. You stop fighting your mind and start listening to what it's been trying to protect all along. Because the truth is, your brain only became a battlefield when your heart didn't feel safe enough to rest. But now you're learning. You don't have to think your way through every possible disaster. You can let life meet you halfway. You can let uncertainty be something you experience, not something you control. Over time, the need to predict will fade. And what replaces it isn't emptiness, it's trust. Trust that you can handle what comes. Trust that not every quiet is the start of chaos. Trust that peace, too, is real. So tell me, when was the last time you allowed silence without trying to fill it? What would life feel like if you stopped preparing for pain and started living in safety? If you could tell your mind one thing, what would it be? Maybe you've done enough. You can rest now. Before you go, share this quietly with the friend whose mind never stops racing. The one who calls it overthinking, but really, it's self-protection with no off switch. Maybe tonight, they'll finally remember what calm feels like, too.